This month we're celebrating family. So here's the scenario for you. Your child's friends ask you to do something that runs against your family values. And we're not talking about something like illegal or anything unethical, just something that your family maybe has chosen not to do or participate in, like maybe having sleepovers or when they're too young, or not going boating on Sundays if your family's decided something that's not something you do. Well,
according to Studio 5 relationship coach Matt Townsend, this is the perfect time to strengthen the relationship. So first of all, tell us which relationship you'd be strengthening.
That's a great question. So think of this. If you're talking to your neighbors and then your neighbors invite you guys to go do something like boating or whatever on Sunday, and you just do not go boating, if you don't have a good relationship with them, how are you on earth going to talk to them without having some offense? So the relationship we're mainly talking about is the one you're trying to share your values with that may not understand it. So we've got to have strong relationships, right? Definitely. Because the power, the level of my relationship with you gives me the power and the breadth and scope of tools I can use with you. The better my relationship is with somebody, the more power I have to say whatever I need to say. In fact, if I have really high trust with my wife, I can pretty much say anything I want. Like, you are not wearing that. That does not work for you. But if I have really low trust with somebody, then you're limited in what you can say. So you're like, sure, it looks good. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It does.
So 4 things we're going to talk about. Keys to how you actually share your values without coming across as like self-righteous or like holier than thou, as we talked about, okay? First one is to show the spirit of caring, not correcting, or by the way, converting. You're not trying to convert everyone else into your rule set. This is your family values. If your values are, look, we like to be together as a family on Sunday, and we don't want to go do everything else that you can do on Sunday, and that's our value, and we've kind of made that our value. The key is show that you care, and so where you begin this is I can still talk to you on Sunday. I can still go on a neighborhood walk and come hang out with you on Sunday. I can still be with you and be your friend, and then not just on Sunday, on every other day of the week, I can be caring, and you can get the message deep down that even if we don't share the same values, I care about you. In fact, I care about you so much that I want to hear about your culture. I want to hear about your values. I want to hear about what your beliefs are. And I can even honor those, and we talk about those. The minute you've had those discussions before, it'll be so much easier to share values later, right? So it's the idea of caring. Remember the quote, I don't care how much you know until I know how much you care. So I now need to correct him that my kid can't sleep over because we don't do that. But if you know I care, I'll have a ton more freedom to do that with you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but it still seems so awkward to me to say that, to bring up that subject. We don't do sleepovers.
And we'll get into that. See, now, interesting. Notice that's the next one. Okay, the next tool is adapt your message to your audience. Here's the deal. They don't know why you don't do sleepovers. You might do sleepovers, but you might not do sleepovers because religiously, whatever, you might have some religious belief about it. But you know what it might also be? It might be that as a child, you were abused. And you have a history and a context that makes it so you don't believe kids should sleep over. And you don't want to come off as like some crazy person that is just a zealot, but the reality is there's context. By the way, your audience also has a context. So when we talk about understanding your audience, every good speaker knows that if I'm going to talk to you, I need to know what my audience is. I need to know your history, your context, and then I'll start adapting my message to that. I have my reasons, and we'll give you some other tools for the words you could use, but I also need to know what the people I'm talking to, why would they go boating on Sunday? You know what? Because that's the only day he's got off. And so if I understand that that's a really important thing and they love to do it, it may not even be a religious concept for them. It just is a family concept. That's when they go boating. Does that make sense?
Now, sometimes you assume that you know the reason behind something, and it may be totally different.
You have no idea. And so the deeper I can get into understanding my audience, then it'll help with the last 2 rules, okay? The next rule is to share the real-life benefits, not just the lofty principles. Okay, so a lot of us talk in code, especially when you're in environments where there's a really tight-knit culture, if a lot of people are going to the same religion, if a lot of people have the same background, you know the cliques that happen even in high school, we all talk code. So if I have a code, and my code rule is we are trying to keep the Sabbath day holy. Okay, that's the lofty principle. If you're talking to somebody that doesn't quite even resonate with that, doesn't even know where you're coming from, then you're teaching a principle before they understand the benefit.
So you don't say to them, we're not going to go boating on Sunday because we're trying to keep the Sabbath holy or whatever.
That's right.
So what do you say?
Now watch this. I would also say, I wouldn't say, I don't let my kids sleep over because I don't want them to be abused by others.
Yeah, that would be a bad thing.
Okay, see, so that's the lofty principle. There's other benefits that you can talk about. Like the Sabbath day one. There's a million reasons why we keep the Sabbath day holy. There's the lofty principle. Like what? I want to be with my family on Sunday. I work all week and don't have any time to be with my kids. We're trying to teach our kids that it's not all about consumption. So we're just trying to not go buy stuff on Sunday. We're trying to be together more as a family and have family time. We only have one day a week to go visit, or one day a month to go visit our grandparents. It happens to be on Sunday. So there's a million benefits why we choose to do that. Then you can even teach, we choose to go to church because we believe that God gave us all these days so we can give him one. And we just, you can get into it, but I personally would just teach all the other benefits. Every other parent on earth is going to understand the benefits of being together.
And the difference in how that comes off versus the other
There's some
option.
lofty principle that they've never even heard about, but you're making assumptions that they know what you mean, and it just comes off like the law matters. You know what else? This is a great exercise for your family, because half of your family don't even know why you keep the Sabbath day holy. So what I would do is I would sit down with your family and talk about all your values and say, what are 10 benefits? What are 10 benefits to the rules we've set as a family? What are some of the benefits of not having sleepovers before we're too old, when we're too young? And I would sit with our kids and come up with all of the benefits. Then we're having conversations. So now everyone's enrolled into why we do this. It's not just a rule we're living.
I love that.
Make sense?
Yeah. It makes them understand
Last one
why.
is be real about your values experiment, okay? A lot of people have a hard time when people are trying to live so strongly a bunch of values, especially when they notice that they're not very good at it. When I notice that you're not very good at your values experiment, because like, remember when you ran over my sprinklers? And you admitted you did, and then I fixed them all week, and you didn't do anything about it, and now you're telling me that you're all great and you're not going to let your kids have a sleepover. I would be honest about my values experiment, that we're trying as a family to do a bunch of stuff, and we're not perfect at any of this. So when you hear us say that we can't go boating with you Sunday, please don't think we don't want to go, because honestly, I would love to go boating on Sunday. The reality is, I'm trying to teach my kids that there's just some things that we don't do on some days, and that's one of them. However, I'd love to go boating with you Friday or Saturday, and I would try to set up a time to go boating. But be real that you're in a battle here trying to exercise values, and you're not perfect at it. Everybody gets no one's perfect at this. Where we struggle with people is when they actually seem to put off the image that they are, yet we know they're not, and then they keep using words like they are.
Yeah, that I think comes across more than anything else as this holier than thou, the self-righteous thing.
Right.
When you act, if you don't act like you're not perfect, then it's okay.
Well,
we're all struggling together.
And if you can just be like, oh my heck, I would love to go boating on Sunday.
But my wife won't let me.
My wife won't let me, but my church won't let me. But you know what? We're just trying to make a decision to do that, just like you guys wouldn't do other things. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we're not trying to overwhelm people. We're just trying to be real. And, by the way, if I care and I understand you, and I'm using the words, the benefits, not just the principles, I'm not just using big principles, and I'm actually honest and real about what a failure I am at this, people get you. And you'll just come off as normal.
We love Matt's
Heaven
advice.
forbid.
Yeah, he's always full of something, isn't he?
I'm full of a lot of
Advice.
stuff.
Full of good
You have
advice.
no idea.
You dish it out at upcoming date night, too.
Date night. This is going to be a killer date night. It is on the 26th, Friday, August 26th. Strengthening your marriage while raising a family. If you have a marriage that's suffering because of your family, your kids, this is the one for you. We teach you how to balance both. Friday, August 26th, 7 to 9 o'clock. Check us out. Go to datenightswithmatt.com and sign up. Tons of fun. We'll laugh. You'll cry. Better than cats.
Thanks, Maddie.
Thanks, guys.
Okay. Go.